Hello, big friends. Welcome to another episode of Acting Up with Alvaro, the mini show where I tell you what I'm watching, why I love it, and why I recommend it every single Monday. Also the mini show where I highlight certain actors or performances that I've personally enjoyed. That said, minor spoilers ahead. Today we're talking about WandaVision. Now, as I mentioned in the past, I'm a pretty big nerd in most ways, one of them being a superhero nerd. And I can attribute a big chunk of that to the X-Men and Spider-Man movies of the early 2000s. Watching those movies as a kid was just such an amazing experience. I distinctly remember trying to move metal with my mind or shooting webs from my hands. But never would I think that these movies would essentially create the development of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we have here today. Each of those superhero movies in the early 2000s were not connected like the movies we have today. And sure, that was mostly due because of the rights belonging to different sets of studios. But really, it's thanks to the fans who received the idea with open arms that helped create it today. It wasn't really until Iron Man 1 and the Hulk movie that was released in 2008 that helped spark the cinematic universe. From that came all the superhero movies that we have and love today, and eventually all the superheroes came together to form the Avengers. And I can go on and on about these movies, but let's focus again on WandaVision and our leading couple, Wanda and Vision, played by Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany, respectively. These were two members of the Avengers in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But after their very, very tragic story arc, Wanda is not happy, and that's putting it lightly. In this show, Wanda essentially creates her own reality in this town of Westfield, where they can live there happily ever after. Now, I don't want to go much deeper into the show because I don't want to spoil everything. And there are some very, very juicy spoilers throughout the show, so I think you guys should watch it to begin with. If you're like me and are invested in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you need to watch this show. This show is basically setting up the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So now, focusing on the talent a little bit, I gotta say, I'm very, very impressed with Elizabeth Olsen's performance in this show. Paul's talent I'm a little bit more familiar with because he's been in amazing movies in the past, and no doubt he's very talented. Elizabeth Olsen's character Wanda had to endure so many heartbreaks throughout this whole storyline. And because of that, she really has a wide range of emotions that she has to portray in this show. And she does exactly what she's supposed to be doing as an actor, make us feel. And you know those scenes where someone does something crazy where you just get chills all over your body and you're like, you can't stop watching the screen? Well, there are a couple of those scenes in this show, but the one scene that really stood out to me that did this was when Wanda and Vision are getting into a heated argument, and Paul Bettany just basically starts yelling at Elizabeth Olsen. And then both of them end up literally levitating off the ground, shouting at each other. And it's so unexpected, and you're just like, oof, that was good. But also the sad part of things too, I mean, I watched last week's episode, and there's this like really, really sad moment where basically Wanda has to relive all these different traumatic events that she had in her life. And she just has a complete breakdown because she had to relive all those things and is processing all of that at the same time. It's really, really quite sad. And it really makes you root for Wanda at the end of the day. But with that said, friends, there's one more episode left in this amazing series. There are 9 episodes total, 8 are available now, and I strongly recommend you guys watch it. But that's it for this episode, friends. Take care, and I'll see you next Monday.